Well, good morning. All right, that's a pretty good one for this time of the morning. How's the conference gone so far? Has it been awesome? How many of you have picked up some ideas that you're going to implement? Oh, good. Do you realize there are people back where you work who are dreading your return? Yeah, she goes off to those conferences. She comes back with all these weird ideas, man. Just give her some time. She'll get over it. Yeah, you're probably going to run into a little resistance if you want to implement anything you picked up here today. And so I thought I'd kick this off by making a few comments about leadership and leading change. But before I do that, I'd like you all to move to another chair, please. Never mind. Sit down. It's okay. I'd like to make an observation about human behavior. I thought that was a pretty simple request. I just asked you to move to another chair. Did you all jump right up and move? No. You sort of sat there and looked at me like, duh. Now, a few of you got up. Who got up? Raise your hand if you got up. And please keep your hand up. I'd like the rest of you to look at these people. You see them? These are the people in the room with a good attitude. Everybody else is saying no. These are the people in the room who suck up. Yeah. Actually, I think your attitude is probably fine. I think that if anything, I probably took you by surprise, right? Now, here's my question. Assuming that I am the leader of this group for the next hour, what could I have done to get you to move to another chair with a little more spring in your step and a little more excitement in your soul? This is the audience participation part. You can speak up. An incentive, yes. Yes, I could have paid you. If I'd have said, everybody who moves to another chair in the next 5 seconds will get a $20 bill, would we have had movement in this room? Oh, yeah. Probably had injuries, too. Yeah. Gordon Bethune was the CEO of Continental Airlines, and he took over that airline when it was going broke. And so he looked at what was going on, and he looked at the customer reviews, and he saw that the biggest complaint the airline had from its customers was that they didn't get there on time. So he just put out a memo to all employees saying, from now on, every month that Continental is in the top 5 airlines, that was out of 17 airlines, if they're in the top 5, every employee will get $67 extra in their paycheck. And I don't know why he picked 67, but that's what he picked. First month, Continental went from 17th to 7th. In the second month, Continental went from 7th to 4th. And they stayed in the top 5 for the next 8 months. And everybody got that extra money. It works. Yeah, I could have paid you. That's one way to make it happen. You go back with all these kind of ideas, pay them to change. But be careful, because Continental had to stop doing it. One thing that's dangerous about it is it becomes an entitlement, and people start to think they get it no matter what. You got to be careful about how you give out those rewards. But the other thing that reason Continental had to stop doing it was that although the complaints for airplanes not getting there on time went way down, complaints for bags not getting there went way up. We're ready to take off. Yeah, but Captain, the bags aren't on board. I don't care. We're out of here. Come on. I want my $67. So yes, I could have paid you. What else could I have done to get you to move to another chair?
Tell us why. Tell us why.
Who said that?
Tell us why.
What is your name? Betsy. And you want to know why? Well, Betsy, frankly, it's just none of your business. Betsy, this was a decision made by people far above your pay grade. Get it? Yeah, Betsy, I could have told you why, right? And not only told you why, but maybe even asked you for your help in making this happen, implement it, right? That would have raised the odds. You would have been more enthusiastic. Yeah. I mean, this is pretty basic stuff. I know my daughter taught me this principle back, well, she's can you all see me down here? Am I okay? All right. Anyway, she taught me this principle back in the 70s. When I got out of college, my first stab at the real world was in construction, and I had a little building crew, and we were building houses, and did okay until 1974. And then if you were around then, you might remember that the economy took a big dive in 74. There were gas lines at the gas pumps, there were gas lines at the pumps, and I didn't get any work, and I went for a year without one job, and that was tough. And my wife wasn't working because she'd been laid off from her job, and things were tight in our household. And my daughter, who at the time was a little kid, she continued to want things because I kind of spoil her, and she said, "Daddy, can I have a new bike?" I'd say, "No." "Why not?" "Well, we can't afford it." "What does afford mean?" "It means we don't have the money." "Well, Daddy, but I saw money in your wallet." I say, "Well, that's for other things." "Well, why can't we spend it on a bike?" "Because we have more important things." "There's nothing more important than a bike." Anyway, these conversations would go on every once in a while. Every time she saw the kid across the street with his new bike. Anyway, my wife, who's very wise, she overheard us and she said, "Larry, why don't we just include Megan when we pay the bills? We can sit down with her and she can write the checks, and that way she can see where all the money goes every month." Because at the time, we were living on my wife's unemployment and our meager savings, and that was it. And so at first it offended me. I mean, this was a long time ago. I had a whole lot more testosterone in my veins than I do now. I think it's all drained out. And I was offended. I said, "What? Open my checkbook to my kid? I don't think so." And my wife said, "Why not?" And I said, "Well, she wouldn't understand it." And my wife said, "Larry, what's there to understand? 0 is 0. Well, I realized she was right. So I gave in, and we sat down at the dining room table with our daughter, and I took a bunch of these little Lego blocks, and I counted them out, and I said, "Now let's pretend that each one of these is $1." And she understood the value of $1 because that was her allowance for the week. And I said, "Here's how many dollars we get every week." And she went, "Wow, look at that. That's a lot of dollars. We can buy a couple of bikes." I said, just a minute. I said, "Here's how many dollars I have to send to the bank, because we don't really own our house. The bank owns our house, and we have to send them this money or they'll kick us out." And I said, "And here's how many dollars I have to send to the bank, because they also own my truck. And I can't find any work if they take my truck away, and they will if I don't send them this money." I said, "And here's how many dollars we have left to eat on every month. And we run out of that sometimes and don't have quite enough at the end of the month." And I said, "Until Mommy or Daddy gets a job so we can put more dollars in." That's kind of the way it is. And I said, "And if you have any ideas, I'd love to hear them." She didn't say a word. She got up and she went into her room and she came out with her piggy bank. And she said, "Here, Daddy, will this help?" I thought I'd cry. Anyway, after I took the piggy bank, just kidding. But I was real tempted. It was heavy. I went, "Where'd you get all this money?" Betsy, I could have told you why and maybe asked for your help, and my guess is you'd have been a lot more willing to join in this effort to do this new thing. Yeah. So we have 2 lessons for leadership here. Pay them and tell them why and ask for their help. All right?